Hello and welcome to Researchquest. I'm your host, the coolest kid in school, Anderson, and today Nintendo gets extreme with Mario Strikers Charged. Mario Strikers Charged was released for the Nintendo Wii on July 30th, 2007 in North America and May 25th, 2007 in Europe. Mario Strikers Charged is a sequel to the GameCube game Mario Strikers. Mario Strikers was a pretty base soccer game with Mario flair. Mario Strikers Charged, however, took it up a notch and made things a little more extreme. Both of these games came in the GameCube and Wii era of the Mario Sports Golden Age, bringing us such titles as Mario Power Tennis, Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, Mario Super Sluggers, and both Mario Golf and Tennis GBA games. The success on the GameCube can mostly be attributed to Camelot, but I think that some of the success that Mario Sports games found on the Wii was just that concepts like baseball worked better with the Wii Remote. The most interesting part about Mario Strikers Charged to me is the aesthetic. Everybody feels very dystopian and Mad Max-like. Characters like Bowser have big metal claws, and everybody seems to be ready to fight to the extreme. The character art for this game and the style of the cover reminds me a lot of action cartoons such as Motor City. When you start the game, you're greeted with a cutscene taking it to the max and getting you ready for the most extreme sport of all, soccer. There are three main modes in Mario Strikers Charged. There is the Road to the Strikers Cup, Domination Mode, and Striker Challenges. Domination Mode just lets you jump into a match when you want. The Road to the Strikers Cup is its own tournament mode, with there being 3 cups, the Fire Cup, the Crystal Cup, and the Strikers Cup. This mode is much less forgiving, but we'll get to that later. And then the final mode being Striker Challenges. This mode is the only mode that is one player. There are 12 challenges, one for each character on the roster, and each challenge makes you feel like the odds are stacked against you. The first mode I tried when I picked up Mario Strikers Charged was the tutorials. And playing through these, I learned the first hard truth of Mario Strikers Charged. And that's that this game is so confusing. In one of the tutorials, it tells you to charge the ball until the charge is white. When you charge the ball, 2 shiny things are on screen. There's a big shiny circle around it, and also the ball is shiny. And apparently it's the shine on the ball that you're supposed to be looking for. So I spent maybe 10 minutes trying to pass it around and charge the ball, and kept shooting and missing and shooting and missing and shooting and missing, until I just passed it enough, and then I shot, until I realized, oh, I've been doing it wrong this whole time. It would have been nice to have known that. There are items in the game, and it is completely unclear how to even get them. And some items are just insanely overpowered, like the Chain Chomp. It just plops down right on you, and it just incapacitates your whole team for a solid 20 seconds. How did they get it? I have no idea. How are you supposed to get it? I don't know. Well, now when I played the tournament mode, I could get through the first cup pretty easily by just using the Mega Strike, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's a bunch of soccer balls flying at the net, and the other person has to try to stop them. It triggers a pretty neat cutscene, and if you're on the other side of it, you point the Wii Remote at the TV and you try to catch the balls. It's a neat feature, but it's just so easy to get the ball, go to one end, and charge up. At least, in the beginning it is. I got through the first cup super easily using just the Mega Strike. But as soon as I got to the second cup, oh boy, did things change. When you enter the second cup, the difficulty spike is just insane. To score at all, you need to charge the ball, which is done by standing in one place, holding B, and passing, and then holding B, and then passing, and then holding B, and then shooting. But as soon as you get to the second cup, if you try to get anywhere and charge the ball, the enemy team will immediately tackle you. And then, boom, the ball is out of your hands, and they're passing it around like maniacs, and then they score again. There are also gimmick stadiums in this game. All stadiums that don't have serious gimmicks have electrified walls, which if you tackle someone into them, they're incapacitated for 5 to 10 seconds, which is frustrating enough. But there is one stage in which there are no electrified walls. In fact, there are no walls. If you tackle someone over the edge, they fly into the abyss, and they're gone for 20 seconds. They're gone for a solid 20. Which, if you're playing against somebody like Bowser on one of these stadiums, you're screwed because you can't tackle him, and he'll tackle you every second he gets. Other stadiums, like a lava stadium, are very frustrating. If you try to pass the ball through a pit of fire, every single time it'll just pop up, set on fire, and be anybody's. Another stadium just has thwomps. It's like the beginning of the Chain Chomp item, but it's constantly and it's everywhere and it's terrible. Everything on the screen is just so very small. And if I'm playing Yoshi against a team that is headed by Luigi, and I'm trying to figure out where I am as Yoshi and where other people on my team are, everybody is green. Everybody's green. So I've passed to people on the other team multiple times trying to pass to Yoshi. Each team captain has their own special stats. Some captains are just kind of regular, some are very fast, and some are just super strong, like Bowser and Donkey Kong. Bowser can pop into his shell at times and keep the ball, making it impossible to get the ball away from him, unless you're playing as someone with the same defensive stat. Donkey Kong uses his hands I'm pretty sure that's not allowed in soccer. The challenges in the game feel like a half-hearted way to extend the length of the game. They do this by making some of the challenges just so extremely impossible that if you wanted to do everything in the game, you would have to spend hours and hours grinding to finish that challenge. And the rewards for the challenges are just so minimal and unimportant that it's not even worth doing the challenges in the first place. These rewards are just small modifiers for the free play mode. There's no use in them. Unless you and your friends really loved Mario Strikers Charged and needed everything in the game so you could have the ultimate Mario Strikers Charged experience with your friends, there is literally no point in doing the challenges. Now, maybe I'm just bad at the game, but I had a really tough time trying to get through the second cup. The game itself isn't bad, it's just how it's executed. It feels very uninviting to new players. The game also had an online mode, which worked well enough for Nintendo's online, but it was kind of lacking. The whole game itself is kind of lacking in depth. If you have multiple people with you, there is some replay value. Unless you're really good at the game or you're trying to become really good at the game, there's nothing to come back for. All in all, it's still just a really good soccer game at the base. There's nothing wrong with it. It plays well, it feels nice. There's just some minor flaws and some balance issues. I went into this video wondering why Nintendo never made a third one. I always thought that this was just really good and they should have made another one. But I think that now that I've played it, I can attribute that to two factors. First off, I don't think enough people bought and kept playing it for Nintendo to know that there was a demand for a new one. This game to me feels like a rental game. Like you'd go to a rental store and rent this game and then give it back in 3 days after you played everything. It really doesn't feel like something you would buy and keep. It's also just such a weird art style that it almost feels alienating to some people. That Nintendo's main audience for a soccer game would be kids, and the kids kind of feel out of their range with this extreme stuff. But the other factor, and I think the biggest one, is that I think Nintendo's scared of making a sole sports game that's not tennis or golf again. This game I consider to be the beginning of the end of the Mario Sports Golden Age. We'd still have some great games after this like Mario Super Sluggers, but Nintendo started to lean away from single sports games that aren't tennis. And this ideology that I think Nintendo carries is where we get games like Mario Sports Mix, which is perfectly fine, and Mario Sports Superstars, which I, like pretty much everybody, never bought or played. Nintendo really could have fixed that game if they just tried to make it more Mario Sports Mix but on the 3DS and promote download play more. That would have worked wonders for Mario Sports. And there are people out there that still really, really want a third Mario Strikers game. If there's a new Mario Sports game coming out and you want to see more Mario Sports games in the future and you have money to spare, go for it. Buy it. Because Nintendo won't know that these games work if they don't sell well. Mario Sports games always hold a special place in my heart, and while I never played Mario Strikers Charged during its prime, I had seen it plenty of places. There's something about the game. There's a touch to it. That it feels different. It doesn't feel like a regular Mario Sports game. It feels special. It's in a league of its own. Mario Strikers Charged got rather favorable reviews. Most critics praised its online, which is something to be said about it. The online was good, if not lacking. And that's Mario Strikers Charged. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know in the comments and subscribe. If you liked this video, give it a like. And if you dislike this video, give it a dislike. Follow me on Twitter at Researchquest2. And check out some other videos, like this video I did on We Play. Have a good day, and thanks for stopping by.